All right, today is what's today? Let's just check the volume before I got my mic up right this time. Today is September 2nd, technically Thursday. Not yeah, so it's Thursday, September 2nd, 11:57 p.m. This is an experiment episode 20 or 20. Um I don't know what to make of this. Yesterday, when I looked at this, um, somebody had liked. I looked at the stats for the channel. Somebody saw a video and liked it. Um, and then I looked at the stats again earlier today, and somebody liked the episode, or they didn't like it, but they saw. Somebody saw the episode I posted last night. And they saw it like within 15 minutes of it being posted. And what it seemed to me is they watched a 1 minute and 26 seconds of it before moving on and with their life away from my channel. And I don't know what that's all about. My dog is losing his mind. Come here. It's like, dog's getting tangled in everything. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know who has stumbled across this, but um, as far as the aspect of this experiment, which is how long is it? How long does it take of posting episodes before people organically stumble upon it without advertising? Well, I would say 18 episodes, based on what I'm finding. I guess to verify these findings, someone else would have to do the same thing. Um, I don't know. But in the off chance that it is the same person that has stumbled across this channel both of these times, I'm going to reiterate the point, like what the whole premise is of this. So, um, I feel like I should start doing this every time I post an episode of This Is an Experiment. The whole premise of this is to create a YouTube channel that I don't advertise to anyone, that is basically a shot for shot capture of my life and what's going on in my world as it happens. Um, and um, and it's just kind of, there's a couple things to find out. One, how long is it? How long before people organically stumble across it? Again, this isn't made. This channel, this show, my life. None of this is designed to capture audiences and keep their attention and to rack up views or anything like that. Um, the whole point is to just put my stuff in a secret little hidden corner of YouTube, available to the public should they discover it, um, and see what happens. What happens if some random dude starts a YouTube channel, doesn't tell anybody about it, and just leaks his life into it? Um, what happens? How long before I crack and break and tell somebody about it, or accidentally let it slip that I'm doing this, and someone goes to try to find it? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things that could come up in the process and maybe a problem. We'll get there when we get there. But that's the whole point. What happens? Does it blow up? Does it not blow up? Does it go on for? Does it come to a point where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore? I don't think that's gonna happen at this point. I don't think that's gonna happen. I kind of love doing this, um, for a nice little brain dump for me. Um, it is nice. But yeah, so I've gotten two views. I've gotten one view 2 days in a row. First view was like 23 seconds. View on the one view I got on episode 18 was 23 seconds. The view that I got on episode 19 was 1 minute and 26 seconds, which I don't know who was watching it or whether they were watching it for that long. Um, Curiosity, I guess. I don't know. But no part of this was intended to be about, scaling an audience with the YouTube channel. If that happens, cool. It'll be interesting to see. But that's not what this channel's for. It's just like my brain dump and to see what happens if I, air out my dirty laundry in public in a part of the woods that nobody knows exists, right? It's like, it's like the internet is an ocean, you know? It's is wide, it's as deep as it is wide. I don't know the if that's scientifically accurate, but you get the gist. And it's like I'm over here in like this tiny little bubble of the ocean, just kind of like doing things, and nobody comes over into my little bubble. Um, and maybe somebody might swim by and be like, "Oh, this guy's got a little bubble over here." I don't want to hang around though. There's nobody else here. It's kind of I don't know. That's what this was though. See what happens. And it's like it's funny because it's like um right when I got to the point when I was convinced that nobody was going to see this at all is when I started I mean, look, I don't know if I could get any more than any more consistency. I mean, I could get it, but like one view on each video 2 days in a row. I mean, that's somewhat consistent. 3 days in a row would be validation, right? That would be consistency. I don't know if that'll happen. Maybe it will. I mean, I'd like to think that. I mean, is that how YouTube algorithms work? I mean, like, I guess this is almost a experiment in challenging their YouTube algos. What's gonna happen next? I don't know. So what's going on in my world? I don't know. I've kind of gotten over the whole putting together a program and scaling it. Honestly, it doesn't excite me. It has nothing to do with being lazy. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like I say like I'm just repeating myself and I'm a broken record at this point. There's a million ways to make $1 million, and your way isn't the only way to whoever has their way. Oh, you just got a mindset problem, man. Fuck off. Look, there's nothing wrong. You know what? If anything, knowing what you don't want to do to make money, like that's the sign of good mindset. It's like, do I just want to make money or do I want to actually do like legitimate shit that helps people? I mean, yeah, building and scaling a program does that too, but yeah, I look at it the same way as the whole thing about starting a business is you want to do something that excites you, right? So the whole point of starting your business is so that you do something that excites you. And it's like, why would I do a business? Why would I run a business that doesn't excite me? So there's two different things. You can either change your idea of what excites you, or just start doing what excites you. So I'm opting for the latter. Um, I'm opting for the latter, as in the second one. Um, that's a good thing for me. That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with I mean that's truly what it is when it comes to making money. What will you do and what will you not do? What will you risk? What will you not risk? What are your tolerances? And Here's the thing, everybody that's trying to sell you a specific way of doing something, of course, of course they want you to think that that's the way. There's a someone that I know that I used to work with on a one-to-one basis. Not someone that I used to know, someone that a former private client of mine that may end up becoming a private client again, looking at a new business model, right? And she's like, "Oh, what's my offer and what do I do?" It's like you don't have to have a big, huge offer. You don't have to have a complicated offer. It's like the I help people with problem without having pain using this IP system. Blech. Everybody does that shit. Look, you know what your offer is? A notary service. Like you do notary stuff. That's your offer. It's not complicated. You don't have to be like, I help people get official documents signed without. You do notary work. Okay. Lots of people need it all of the time. And then the idea that I, pitched loosely was like, dude, just do a notary service, or not a notary service, but a notary agency. Start an agency where you manage independent contractors of notaries, and so basically they don't have to look for their gigs. They don't have to look for like different engagements to do notary work for or whatever. You find the gigs and then you assign them to the contracted agent. They go do it and you take a commission and you take a cut. You do a fraction of the work and still get paid. And it's easy to scale. And the thing is, it's like, look, you get up to the point where you figure out exactly how many of these appointments that you want to do that, puts you at a place of comfort. And then you extend slightly past that. And then you get to a point where you have enough of a workload that you can hand off to someone else. Say, okay, now you're taking all of this number of appointments, right? And then you scale and then you build up a new, chunk of like getting a consistent flow, hand those off to another person. And you just start to do it that way. It's not complicated at all. It's super easy. If I knew anything about notary services, I would do that. Look, the one thing that I say so much is that if I had half the skills that my clients had, I would be making a lot of money. What's my skill? I troubleshoot. I problem solve. It's like, what do we got going on here? Where are we at? What's the goal? How do we make it happen? Let's put a plan. Let's create a plan to make it happen. Let's figure out where the plan is falling apart, and then address it. Easy peasy. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. So if she happens to stumble across this, she gets her plan right there. I haven't told her. I was like, look, I got a plan for you whenever you're ready. Come hit me up. Whenever you're ready to make money, and you're ready to hire me as a coach again, let's do this. I can get you to where you want to go. Now that you're out of your own way, kind of. Yeah, my I thought about, as yesterday I talked about my one sentence business plan. Uh, and I think my one sentence business plan is talk to people, and then after I'm done talking to people, find out who they can introduce me to. Talk to people and then have them introduce me to other people and then talk to them. Literally just meet people. Just meet people. Just talk to people. I want my calendar to be full of calls. They don't have to be, it doesn't have to be full of sales calls. It doesn't have to be full of coaching calls, just calls. Just talking to people. Um, yeah, pretty much. I don't have much else for today. There's a lot of other stuff. You know why I say I don't have much else? Because now that I know that people are watching this, I'm like, what am I talking about? But they only watched like a minute of 26 seconds. But what it does is it shows that there's potential that more people could be seeing this. And I'm like, maybe I'm going to scale back about all of this stuff that I talk about. It's happening because I remember when I started this, it's like once I start feeling that like thing of like, are people actually gonna watch this? Um, am I gonna show up the same way? Am I gonna talk about the same stuff? Am I gonna get into the same amount of depth? Even though it's only one person that watched a minute and 26 seconds, not near enough to get into all of the deep, dirty, gross stuff. It still has me kind of it's my brain. It's like what happened? What happens if all of this gets out? I don't know. I don't know. That it's almost like it's a ticking time bomb that may never explode. I feel like would be ideal. As I think about this, um, you know what I might well, what might actually happen is that it gets to a point where it gets big enough that I stop the experiment and then I start doing this again somewhere else. You know, it'd be funny if I created like 3 lookalike channels and I just rotated. So there's 3 different This Is an Experiment channels. They'd have to have different names though, so that they couldn't be located in reference to each other. Um, that'd be interesting. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this. My parents are coming in town tomorrow. I'm excited to see them. I've had to do a lot of work to try to repair my relationship with my parents. Part of that is on me. Part of that is, I mean, it's just, it wasn't great. They're not bad parents by any means. It's not, kind of, I'm not really saying there was, but there were a lot of things in my development that I wasn't quite set up for the best life experience. Um, I was raised a half Mexican Islamic vegetarian in the middle of Iowa in the 90s. Man, what a shitty combination. I was just like asking to to experience developmental issues as a result of that. Um, Here's the thing. Um, and I knew that they all they wanted was the best for me, and I get that, and I love that about them. That all they want is the best. But and so they did their best to have me, raise me with a relatively normal life, or at least as close to normal as possible. But there's no amount of normal that can compensate for sticking out like a sore thumb. Just doesn't happen, doesn't work. You know, post 9/11, being Islamic in America, that's fucked. It's hard. That's hard shit. That's traumatizing shit. I almost pretty much abandoned it entirely. I don't claim that religion anymore in particular. Still spiritual. I believe in God. Pray to God. But it's, you know, it fucked me up. I had no support. I had no community. I felt like I had to hide, and there was like parts of me that I had to hide away, and I wasn't allowed to talk about it because if I did, something bad might happen. That's rough. I learned how to lie at a very easy age, at a very early age, as a result of that. How to hide things, bend the truth. When the other kids ask, you know, do you go to church? No. Well, then what do you do? I, how do you explain it? How do I explain that every weekend I went to, fellowship meetings um, with a group of like minded people? I don't know. Like, just saying it like that, it sounds culty. Everything is a cult, regardless how you look at it. Where was that? Why was I coming? Yeah, I mean, so that oh yeah, so that all came off of this kind of thing of like I'm working on healing my relationship with my parents and all of that, and we don't really necessarily see the world the same way, which is fine. Um, it's bound to happen. It's a generational thing. I just sighed really heavily because I looked at this sticky note on my computer side of my computer and it said, "Am I still holding on to bipolar as a reason to play safe?" It's one of those things I don't know if I'll never quite figure out. I need to generate cash flow. I need to generate money. I remember when things were nice. I remember pre-COVID. COVID happened and everything got fucked up. COVID happened and it was like people fell into one of three categories: um, thriving, striving, or surviving. Right? I was thriving. You know what? I was doing really fucking good until I quit my job. It's one of the worst decisions I ever made. I was not ready for it. It put me in a downward spiral that I'm still trying to recover from. Should have never trusted her. I remember it. I remember that conversation. The burn the boat date. When are you gonna quit? What's your exit strategy? Well, when I have money, ideally by the end of January. Okay, how far away is that? 3 weeks. Okay, cool. Or 2 weeks. Or three. Yeah. And I was like, I already have my 2 weeks notice drafted up. She's like, okay, let's do math. How much money are you gonna make during that time? And we crunched the numbers, and it was like $800, something like that. And putting that in contrast of having just done 11K in volume over the course of a couple weeks. um $800 is like uh, uh and and so she was like, so just well, I know you're going to make more than that in that time. Just, submit it. And it basically was, we're not moving forward until you know, send that text with your, you know, 2 weeks notice or whatever. I didn't feel like I had a choice. I didn't feel like I had a choice. She was just sitting there. She was just staring at me. And the only thing that I could do, I talk about fucking pressure. I remember her words were, I wouldn't have you quit your job if I wasn't confident that you would be making that money and then some, uh, in this period of time. It's like, okay, I trust you. I shouldn't have trusted her. I didn't make that money. I didn't make any money. And then I started selling all of my shit. I'm still selling shit. This has been a year of selling shit. I mean, I guess that's silver lining around all of this, selling shit that I don't really use anymore. And I didn't need anymore. I can't think of anything that I've sold that I was like, I wish I didn't sell that. So there's that. There's that. One of the things that I always, sometimes the ROI that you get isn't the ROI that you expected or that you hoped for. I was hoping for a positive ROI and I got a negative ROI. I don't blame her. I blame myself for trusting her because I shouldn't have. I I blame myself for rationalizing myself into a hell yeah from a no and then having it blow up in my face. I mean, all of it's my fault. If I had never hit her up, if I never hit her up, none of this would have happened. I'd be in a completely different timeline right now. I probably wouldn't have got sucked into a cult either. The whole reason I got sucked into a cult is because I was fucking desperate. Felt alone. I felt hopeless. And lo and behold, spiritual community at just the right time. I know, some black magic voodoo shit. I don't trust it. um, and it put a lot of financial stress and pressure on me, and in turn, it put a lot of financial stress and pressure on my parents because they had to pick up some of the slack because I couldn't make it happen, and I hate it. I hate it. I didn't want it to be like that. I didn't want it to happen like that. But it did. What I love most about my parents is how much they support me despite all of the shit that I put them through. You want the definition of unconditional support? I get it. I'm grateful for that. For all of the things that went wrong in the early years, there's a lot of things that went right later on. I've had to do a lot of work around that. It's a two-sided thing. I've had to learn to give my parents grace for things that they didn't know anything better about. That's a part of it. I had a lot of resentment towards them for a while. For reasons I didn't even really fully comprehend or understand. But I did. There was a lot of it. There was a lot of it for a long time too. It was like, I can't wait to get away. And I had to work through and I had to process. I had to do a lot of work. I had to do a lot of work on myself before I could even try to start doing work with them. But, here I am kind of on the other side. So that's good, right? So I love it when they come in town to visit now. I do my best to go visit them. We see the world differently, though. I think that's the hardest thing to navigate, especially during this time with this global crisis. Everything's fucking crazy, bordering on mass psychosis. Everybody's losing their fucking minds. Even the ones that feel most grounded. Like, I'm surprised I haven't lost my mind this far yet. Honestly, maybe I already haven't. I just haven't realized it yet. That's the scariest thing. Of all of the points in my life, of all of the things that have gone on, this is it's a fucking scary time in the world right now. I think I've been denying that. I've been staying away from it. I think the only way that I've been able to keep my shit together this long is by isolating. I may as well live in a cabin in the woods. I don't watch the news, current events. Occasionally I'll hear about something. Something happens, I'm usually the last to know about it. I'm okay with that. It just, I think the hardest part, it's a scary time in the world, and I feel like my parents live in fear of it, and I refuse to. I mean, for good reason. They're in a at-risk demographic. It's true. Um, Me, not so much. What happened? What happened to me this year? I don't understand it. It's like I was. Been on such a steady upward, like 2018 was really good. 2019 was even better. 2020 was pretty fucking awesome. And then this year, it's fucking tanked and it wrecked me. And I don't even know where to start rebuilding. It's like everything fell apart. Everything fell apart. I fucking wrecked myself. A dumb fucking dumb decision. Stupid. Like, I trace it all the way back to that decision. There's certain decisions that I feel like I knew it in that moment too. This is either gonna, make me or break me. And it broke me. Trusted the wrong person. How do I unbreak? mean, I'm the mindset guy. How do I do this? I have to put it back together. I have to put myself back together. And honestly, I think part of it is this fucking pandemic. I don't see anybody. Don't talk to anybody really. It's the social aspect. You know, there's something nice. You know, when I was working at the club, the bar, doing sound, and was friends with the bartenders and friends with the musicians, and the kind of casual chit chat and banter and all that kind of stuff. It was nice. I felt appreciated. No, it wasn't that. I'm just making what was it? What did I like so much about it? That I belong to a community of people. I have no community right now. I have no community. So how do I build that? How do I build my community? Who do I want in my community? But even still, like, it's not. I need to have a physical community. Third dimension, like here in real life. This, like, staring into a portal on Facebook, Instagram. I need to be around people. I need to be around people. I think that's what's killing me. That, and and I exercised more too, I guess. I do more of that. I do more of that. All right, this has gone on way too long. It is 12:41 a.m. Friday, September 3rd. This is an experiment, episode 20 by